Hi, April here from Piano Lessons Info, and today we're talking about when you should be using your pedals on your piano or keyboard. So just quickly, the one on the left is the quiet pedal, and you can use that when told to in classical music, basically. Or if you just really want to play extremely softly, that one's for. The other one on the right, the very right, is the damper or sustain pedal. And this one is got a few more guidelines on when to use it. So that's going to be the main bit of this video now. Okay, so when to use this pedal. Some of us like to use it all the time, most of the time, and I'm saying it like that because I do love the pedal. I do love to use it most of the time, but it's not an all the time thing. So there are some times when you don't use a pedal, and it's mostly about styling. So any time you're playing kind of classical stuff that is short, you don't use a pedal. Okay, so those are staccato notes, the ones with the little dot under it. You don't use that, or you don't use it if you're trying to play something detached, basically. Okay, so those situations, pretty straightforward, but some of us like to use it all the time, so it's worth noting. Okay, so that is the short stuff. Just one more thing. Basically, in classical music, you use it when you have music from the 18th century on, so the Romantic era. If you have some Beethoven, that's a bit on the edge, you can use it with some Beethoven pieces, but basically that's the main rule for when in history. Now, because I teach a lot about chords, we will also talk about when to use it with chords. So basically, if you're playing, well, I should say for myself, playing chords, I pretty well always use it, just because we're going to join all the chords together, and changing chords, you know, you do need to jump quite a bit, so it joins them all. That was a nice chord to leave it on. It joins them all and helps you make those transitions nicer. So I do have a video on how to use the pedal, and you can watch that one if you're unsure of how. So when is this one. So we're going to use it especially if we've got slow song, because it makes it nice and lyrical. It joins everything together. Okay, so slow songs are very important. Any kind of relaxing music you want to play, anything like that. So that kind of feeling of softness or lyricalness, anytime you want to join it together. But if you have something a bit more jumpy and rhythmic that you want to do, it's not always, you don't always want to use it. So that's no pedal, or any kind of like rhythmic kind of feeling like that. You can add it in sometimes, but leave breaks. So like a hold and off just gives it can give it a bit more depth. Something like that. So that's, you can use it on and off as well. It depends on the styling. So if you want it to be short, if you want it to be bouncy, if you want it to be very rhythmic, maybe try without the pedal. If it's not sounding full enough, you can experiment with using it then. Okay, make sure I've got everything I want to say about that. If you are learning beginner music, so if you're learning to read music and you're unsure of where or when to use the pedal, usually if you're going through a book, it'll eventually just say, now we're learning pedal, and it'll give you some markings. So they look like it's a line, that means hold the pedal down, a little triangle, that means lift it up and down. Okay, so we're holding, well, we're learning to play this melody, then it's going to give you a new one, and you're going to change it when the triangle goes up and down. Basically like that. So that's when you use it with beginner music. So the trick is really not when to use a pedal, really, because you use it quite often, especially with chords. The trick is using it well, changing it well. So if you haven't watched the video on how to use the piano pedal, I'd recommend that one. Goes a bit longer, but I go through a lot of the common issues I see with people when they get stuck or when it's not sounding right. So that's a good one for you to do next. Okay, and if you haven't got my free chord cheat sheet, you can grab that, try a few different chord progressions, and try experimenting with some short sounding rhythmic chords, and then try experimenting with some joined lyrical chords and see how it goes. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye.